watched a video today of someone complaining about me that I don't live off grid. They say that in order to live off grid, you have to be completely self-sustaining. I kind of brushed on this yesterday a little bit. You have to be completely self-sustaining. And what I find fascinating, I guess, is I've said that I'm like 98% self-sustaining. I really feel like I am. We hardly ever go anywhere. And the only time we go anywhere is to go grocery shopping. That's it. We don't need anything else. I mean, I guess you could say, well, you get your clothes, you need to get clothes and gasoline for the generator. But if I really wanted to buckle down and say, okay, this is it, I want to be 100%, it wouldn't be hard at all, with the exception of clothes. I wouldn't need the generator. All I have to do is shut off the freezer, start canning the food, and I'd be completely off grid. I would start mass producing the chickens. Now, what I would do is I'd let them free range, or I would section off pieces of the property a little bit here and there, and then I could grow corn or seeds or something in one spot, and then they could come and graze in here. You know, or if it was an SHTF, you know, the preppers are always worried about the SHTF thing. All I'd really have to do is just cage them up. It would be inhumane and all the, you know, it would be terrible and all that kind of stuff, but all I would do is I would incubate them, feed them corn, get them good and fat, and butcher them. And it'd just be that fast. And it just wouldn't be that much more work. It would be a little, but not much. But people can't give up their stuff. This channel should not be called an off-grid channel. It should be called a minimalistic channel. Maybe that would help these guys who say, oh, the little house off grid is a liar, to understand that it's not that impossible. Their complaint is there's no way you can live off grid completely, because you'd end up spending too much money on solar panels, for example. That was the one complaint, is if he wanted to live off grid, he would have to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to supplement his electric, to replace his electric bill. But his electric bill isn't that expensive. He's priced it in order to get enough electric for him to run. Well, I don't run that much electric. I run a freezer, a laptop, a tablet, a couple phones, a couple fans, little fans. That's it. I don't want to run a 4-story house. Minimalization. Downsize your lives. It makes life so much easier. And then you don't have to call everybody liars, because once you realize that it's minimalization and your life is easier and you don't have to do all these complicated things, then you can do this stuff. And as far as this tiny electric bill everybody keeps talking about, okay, let's say it's $30 a month, $50 a month, whatever. Well, I've already paid for my electric, my solar. Yes, I agree. It's not cost effective to replace your current living conditions. You would have to minimize. I mean, every time I don't visit people very often, but every time I do go visit someone, you walk into their house and the TV's on, lights are on in the living room, and nobody's in it. Nobody's watching the TV, maybe the dog or the cat. I mean, I've heard people say, I leave the TV on for the dogs. My cat is quite content just waiting for us to get home. She sleeps through the day. I mean, she doesn't need company. If you put that much effort into your pets, then I don't even understand. I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. They can entertain themselves. Get them a toy to play with. You're wasting electric. Now, air conditioning, that's a big one. We can run air conditioning now. So, but a lot of people need air conditioning, they say. Well, I just disagree. I don't think you need air conditioning. They didn't need it 200 years ago, 150 years ago. They don't need it now. I live in Florida, you have to have air conditioning. So you're telling me people in Florida 200 years ago, 150 years ago had air conditioning? No, they didn't. You can do it. You just have to figure out how to do it. And people don't want to try to figure it out. Drink plenty of water, stay in the shade, keep a fan running. They just can't do it. And they're spoiled to the air conditioning. Being spoiled to the air conditioning really has a huge effect on a person. When I go into an air conditioning building, I'm cold. But if I stay in it too long, I start to get comfortable, and then I go outside, and then I'm miserably hot. It's just better to be miserably hot, then you don't even know what it feels like to be cold. Go into your cabinets and look at all the stuff you have in it. All the little appliances, the fryer and the little oven thingy and all those things that you have, the mixers and the blenders. When's the last time you used all of them? How often do you use them? We have 2 canners. And now we can all the time. We can because we find sales on meat and stuff. So we can a lot, and tons of videos that we got on it. But still, we'll go 6 months without using them. And that's something that we have to have around here. So I was talking about electric. I should get back to that. If we wanted to go completely self-sustaining, we would shut off the freezer. We would can all that food. And then we just need the electric for the well pump, which I didn't mention earlier. So it's just not that difficult. So we got our food figured out. That's the only issue that we would have is food. It's the only issue. It's not an issue. We choose not to be completely self-sustaining with the food. Now, the other thing that makes this life easier is understanding what you need to eat. If you're trying to maintain a diet of garbage, then yeah, self-sustaining isn't possible. You want your vegetables and your beans and your rice and all that stuff. I hate gardening. Now, Carolyn likes it, but I hate it. I absolutely hate it. My ex-wife would start this big elaborate garden, and by the time it got to July, I was the only one out there taking care of it. A cornfield wouldn't be too bad. If I just wanted to use corn for the chickens, like I said earlier, you throw seeds out and they'll sprout out without much trouble at all. And then you can feed the chickens the stalks and the corn, all of it. You can grind it. It's just not that much work. But as far as gardening and keeping the weeds out, oh, I hate it. So I don't do it. But I still be self-sustaining because we become carnivores. See, it's all about minimalization, downsizing your lives. My body, I'm a carnivore. I know there's people who just absolutely don't agree with it, but when you're addicted to sugars, you can't even comprehend what it's like to just eat a plain diet. It doesn't even make sense. Well, it's like breathing. You eat to live. You shouldn't live to eat. You breathe to live. Same principle. The only reason you have taste buds in your mouth isn't so you can enjoy all the different flavors of sugar. It's so you can identify what's poisonous and what's rotten. That's what the whole sense is there for. Not to indulge yourselves and be a spoiled American. So I've downsized my life. I don't need to live on 1,000 acres. I don't need to have a 16-story mansion. I just need to food, water, shelter, and defense. That's it. That's all you gotta have. And you can't convince people of this. They make videos calling me a liar because they can't do it. Just because they can't do it doesn't mean I can't do it. I can eat a carnivorous diet. I can eat chicken and eggs. That's it. That's all I need. But to tell me that that's not true, that means it's not true for you. I prove it every day. I show it every day. I can try to talk you into doing it every day. You don't need all the stuff. Americans have become so spoiled and lazy. To make a video and say that I'm lying, you can't live off grid. There are still people in the world today who live off grid. In Alaska bush or in Africa or in the Amazons, there are people who do not have electric, and take care of themselves. There are people who just hunt to eat. So to say it's not possible is ridiculous. It's not possible because you don't want to give up your spoiled life. And it's very aggravating. So I'm going to keep this video a little short today. So if you'll click this up next box, it'll take you to a video where I was talking about the well. So I hope I can inspire you to think minimalization so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.